What's up, everyone? Welcome to Point Taken, episode 30. My name is Alex Martinet. Joining me is Patrick.
Hey, what's up?
Nothing much. We're going to talk about No Man's Sky. Before we start, a few housekeeping notes. Last week's episode, I said that for Oculus, the single-player game, I referenced it as a co-op game. This was during my time when I saw Mother Russia Bleeds, so I might have mixed up the two games. That game comes out August 18th, and then for Mother Russia Bleeds, that comes out on September 5th. So I've got those two release dates mixed up. My apologies, but anyways, for the third note, this is our first episode on YouTube, so you usually find us on SoundCloud and on iTunes. While you're there, please like and subscribe, and please give us a review. It helps us a lot. Let's kind of just start the show. We've both been playing No Man's Sky. I mean, like, this is the game that we've been talked about for, I'd say, for about 2 years, since E3 2014, 2013. It's been a while. I mean, like,
yeah, one of those 2 years.
Yeah, this game has been in the spotlight. But now it's in our hands. We're creating our own planets, universes, and we've only been playing it for about 2 days, so it's kind of a rough estimate. But what are your thoughts on it so far?
I really like it. It's kind of like I'm trying to think of anything to compare it to because it's pretty unique, but it feels a lot like Minecraft to me. I'm getting those same like addictions, just like going out, traveling around, finding a bunch of resources, then like going back to a space station in this case, and improving yourself, and then moving on to the next galaxy. I'm enjoying it a lot so far. How about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying it. I've warped 5 times, I've been to about 10 planets, and it's all starting to blend in. And this is something we're going to talk about later, but I just want to see a populated planet for once, and that's where I'm starting to get really worried. Because I didn't really
populated with animals?
Anything, really. It just feels like it's empty to me.
I think you're getting a little unlucky there.
I mean, like, I've seen animals, and I've seen a lot of animals, but it just seems like there's not a lot of diversity on it. The only real diversity is when you go to a trading depot, or when you need to sell stuff. You actually see a wide variety of species. It's just you don't see any humans or anything that walks, essentially. So it's kind of odd to see ships flying up above. I'm not too sure if that happens for you, but there's always ships flying up above, and
yep,
yeah. So
yeah, no, it's fairly so I guess we'll just dive into it. So yeah, like each planet, you're right, they're fairly barren in terms of like sentient life. Basically, if you do run into a person on a planet, it'll be they'll be like in a shelter or like a manufacturing facility, something like that. And I don't know, you'll only run into like 1 or 2 people on each planet, pretty well, unless you really explore the whole thing. But you're right, there is no, oh, I found a town. Like, that does not exist in this game.
Yeah, I haven't had like a moment where like, I jump into, or I go from space to ground. I have to, worry about if I'm going to hit a building or not. It's just the same land masses, and it's all underdeveloped. So I just want something that's a little bit more modern. And I'm hoping that the closer I get to the center of the galaxy, the more you start seeing the more glorious sides to whatever Hello Games universe they're trying to build. Once again, this is our own story. So, like, Patrick and I are going to have our own different world because we're basically computer generated. So, that's kind of the interesting thing. But what do you think this game lacks any online component to it? Because I think that's what it really does need for right now at the moment. I mean,
yeah. So like, Yeah, there is no online. Like it says on the bottom of the screen, it says like online service is active. But like from what I've heard, you can't even if you do know someone and you try to like meet them on the planet, you won't actually like run into them.
Yeah,
That's what I've heard.
there was a Reddit post late last night about how two players were trying to meet at the exact same spot, and even though they were, it's just they couldn't see each other. So
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean that's something that they said they were like, "Oh, you're never going to run into anyone. The universe is too big." But they should have known that people would plan for this. They should have just said it is a single player game and you won't see anyone else, and they should have just nipped it in the bud right there. But I don't know. I don't really care. I'm fine with this being a single player game. I didn't expect it to be more than that. The galaxy is so big. Like you're not gonna like see anyone else. I'm excited. I really do want to run into a planet that someone else has like explored though.
yeah, I mean,
I have yet to see that, and I don't expect I'll see it much until I get close to the center of the universe. Maybe then I'll see it. But yeah, on the outskirts where I am currently, I doubt anyone will ever visit these planets, and I'm not really naming them like I'm not naming everything on them. I just name the systems and the planets. So I've decided to do. I will not name like anything else because it takes too much time because you find too much stuff. But yeah, it would be nice to see. I suppose it would be nice to see like some other, like you were alluding to at the beginning, where you're like, I want more like people around. It would be nice for it to not be so barren. I guess it's a very lonely game.
yeah, we'll
For
get
sure.
into that, but I think like the bigger issue people are having with this is that the way that they talked about the game leading up to launch about there's a good interview clip of where forgetting who the developer was, Sean or
Sean Murray, yeah.
Sean Murray he's on the Late Show with Stephen Colbert, and he's talking about, well, you and your buddy can go on this world together, and even though he says it's single player, there's like an online component to it. And
Yeah, and they might add that though.
yeah, like there's a lot of things. He did respond to that Reddit message where, it's only day 1.5. I mean, we're gonna see that probably the next couple of weeks, hopefully. Be interesting to see though how they update the game though.
Yeah, so they said they want to do like base building next, right? Which is interesting. I mean, it is something I've thought about. And like when you spend so much time on a planet, like trying to find all the species and stuff, you kind of want to be like, oh, I could maybe make this planet home. But at the same time, you're warping all over the place. That like you're not going to spend the energy to go back to a planet. I wouldn't assume if you've gone far away from it. I don't know if they'd implement something so you could just automatically like warp back home.
So I have a feeling that might happen, but there's like so when you get to like the higher levels, you have enough energy to make enough warp speed, which allows you to travel from galaxy to galaxy. So I have a feeling that's something they could do, but I'm more curious about like how, like, if you look at how if like for console updates for Overwatch, the PC community always seems to get the first updates, and then followed by a week or two later, the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One community seem to come later. Currently, No Man's Sky is not out for Xbox One, which I'm really surprised about. But we'll probably
Really?
Yeah.
It's being published by Sony, isn't it?
Yeah, but like I'm figuring that.
If it's being published by Sony, then
I mean,
it's at least going to be timed for a while.
Yeah, I mean, like we just saw with or who was the developer? It was the
Oh yeah, with Inside.
Inside. Yeah, I was like, is it outside or inside?
It's that was really quick. I was really surprised by that. I don't think this has been touted so much as a PlayStation game.
Yeah,
I think that it's at least going to be a year. And as for the patch thing, the reason that happens is because it takes longer. Like both Xbox, like Microsoft and Sony have to like confirm like each patch. Like the patch have to like the patches they have to send them in and like be like verified and stuff. So that's why on PC like Blizzard can just put it out and then it's not in conjunction with the console versions. But as I said, with like Sony's publishing it, I feel like Hello Games is going to have the patch ready, get it through Sony's system, and then put them both out at the same time. That's what I hope to see, at least.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I hope that we get enough content where we're still coming back to it a month or two afterwards. And I think the community is still going to be there. I mean, this game is scorching beautiful. Like every time you go out into outer space and you just see the skylines of each planet, it's so hard not to take a picture of it.
Yeah, and like just the size and the scope, like you're by one planet and it's so huge in front of you, and then there's a few off in the distance that look really small, and then they slowly blow up as you get closer to them. Like just that scale is really, really interesting. Like it's spectacular. That's like we've always wanted a space traveling game, and I have to say that this this game certainly does have faults, and I guess we'll talk about them more. But yeah, like it is a space traveling game. Like this thing is huge. They are not wrong about that.
Yeah, like
when you like zoom out to that map, it is just massive.
Yeah.
It's endless. It's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous that even when you zoom out like a little bit, you're like, oh crap, where am I? Like I'm like, where's my star in here? I have to find it again. Oh.
Yeah, like I just went through a wormhole and it brought me a little bit closer to the center, but as soon as I exited, there was like 4 starships that were all rebels, and I'm like, fuck, I have I don't even have any shields. My proton missiles don't even do anything. So
yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm going galaxy to galaxy like slowly, and I'm getting like the planet nearest to the space station, and I'm going to that planet and just finding a bunch of stuff, bringing it back and selling it. I want to get to, I'm at like 650,000 units. I want to get to like 850, 900, and then I'll buy someone's ship that's around that level. That's like the right price for a ship that I need right now.
I bought mine for roughly 700, and that came with 20 slots.
Okay, yeah. My current one is 19. I got the pre-order bonus one.
No, I didn't even know there was a pre-order bonus.
Yeah, it was about to come out, and I was like, I was going to buy it like at midnight for some reason. I was like, wait, is there a pre-order bonus? I was like, oh, okay, sure.
You got
word to the wise though here for that pre-order bonus. Like you get it immediately, and that ship already has a hyperdrive, which is like the first part of the game is like building one. I'd recommend you don't redeem that bonus until you build a hyperdrive, so just so you can understand the game and get that experience. Because the first few hours of the game, like there's a lot more like survival elements. Like I don't know where you started, Alex, but I started on like a planet that was like minus 70 degrees, and that was really tough. Like I was like, holy crap! Like I had to keep jumping back into my ship because I kept freezing.
I had my first planet was if it went dark during the night, the radiation would just explode, and I couldn't even walk around. So I was just sitting in the spaceship because I didn't know about how you couldn't use the ship to traverse. So what happened is that you're basically just sitting there and waiting to heal up.
Yeah, the tutorial is pretty vague. It kind of just throws you right into it. It's just like build this stuff. This is how you build it. But you learn it. You learn it within a couple hours. You kind of learn how the systems work. I'm excited. Like, so the thing that we're talking about, like the planets are, the planets do kind of look the same a little bit. I've started to run across some planets that have just a ton of water, which is really cool, and like some underground like installations that have been like abandoned for like years and years and years, or like underwater installations. And like, but you're right. Like a lot of it is just color changes, weather changes, like flora and fauna changes. But the cool stuff is like when you find like a mineral you haven't seen before. There's certain minerals that I really want, so I can start upgrading some stuff, but I've never seen them. So I'm excited to like finally run into that stuff.
Yeah.
There's like that excitement, like that, that exploration excitement that comes along to it when you go on a new planet. You're like, ooh, what might I find here?
Yeah, I normally stay away from hot weather planets. So with those planets, you can't really walk around or even run around. So you're limited to roughly like 3 hours or 3 hours of, day and night cycle, which it works out in your favor sometimes, but often you're looking for a planet that has a lot of trees to it and doesn't have a lot of sentinels that will come chasing after you.
Yeah, there are planets, though. I found one of these that when you go down, there's no life. So there was like no fauna and like no flora. And what it told me when I was touching down is like it means that like there's some rare minerals here, but the sentinels are also crazy. So like there's no flora and fauna, and it's just like sentinels and like rare minerals, and like so the sentinels will attack you whenever they see you, but you can find some stuff. I found like some cool stuff there. So like there are some interesting like unique planets that you're like, oh, this is like completely different, and it seems like perhaps maybe the trade-off is if the sentinels are pissed off, maybe there's some rare stuff to find on that planet.
Yeah, I do like that balance. It does have a couple like that roguelike feel to it that I didn't really expect.
Yeah.
So I've died only during space combat, but every time I've died, you have the chance to come chasing after equipment similar to, I don't know, name your roguelikes. But the space combat takes a while to get used to, but it does have that Star Wars feel to it where you have to figure out where that guy's coming from, and then at all times make sure you're not the one that's behind. So
yeah, it's not like great space combat, but I don't think anyone really expected the combat in this game to be stellar. I'm kind of like my ship sucks. Like I said, like I really want to be able to like beat like just win like space battles because I'll find like distress signals for like big ships. And they'll be like, destroy like these 17 fighters. I'm like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you'll get some sort of reward. And then like that's the other thing, like all the blueprints and stuff. It's kind of exciting when you find like new blueprints. When you find like new recipes is the most exciting. So like there is a lot of like, I guess loot, and loot's fun. So
yeah, I'm just wondering like after the loot grinds, what is there? Like what's the main story? What's the center of No Man's Sky? So if the loot grind is what you make the Minecraft comparison, and that's a very very good comparison because after a while it's the same thing. But as someone who didn't really play a lot of Minecraft, and you know, I have no idea how this game's going to advance. So I assume if No Man's Sky is going to take the shape of Minecraft, the base building is probably going to be the next step, but I would love to see some guilds in there. I know that's something that you tend to see in MMOs, but I would love to see that integration with No Man's Sky and see if people would actually meet up and actually form a civilization through guilds. That'd be something that I'd be kind of interested in, see what they could do. Like the most interesting thing about No Man's Sky is that it almost feels endless. Every aspect of it, like you just jump in or even walk around, like everything you do feels like an adventure at the moment. At the moment.
Yeah, it's really exciting just finding a new planet and just like flying down to it. Like there's an excitement about it. There's like, what could I find here that reminds me kind of, like I said, it reminds me of kind of Minecraft, like just digging and like finding a mine. Like, could I find like diamonds down here? It's that same kind of feeling that you don't get too often. And the fact that, you know, like you said, like this game is endless. I forget what the statistic is, but like obviously there aren't going to be enough people to play this game to actually see everything. But if everyone in the world played this game, I forget how many years it was like if everyone in the world played this game and found a planet every second, it would still take like 20 years to find everything. So no one's ever going to see this whole game, which is why I know that no one's ever going to see these planets I've like discovered and named and stuff.
How do water planets change the game? I just landed on one, but curious about how that changes the format.
There's like, it's not like that. Like it depends how much water. Like if there's a lot of land, then not that much. But there's a lot of like underwater stuff. So there's like underwater. There's a lot of underwater beacons, and I found some underwater like ruins, and a few times I found underwater like factories. And you need to, if you can get there's an oxygen mask that can help you breathe underwater, that can let you last long enough to really do what you need to do down there. It's basically it is the same thing. Like I already know the formula of basically what I'm going to see on the planets. But for some reason I'm still hooked on it. I mean, I guess I've only played 10 hours, but I very much enjoyed these 10 hours for sure.
Yeah, like it's been a while since I've been this excited about a game, but also worried about what comes next. I mean, there's so many things. Like, I would love to see a deathmatch mode. I would love to see like my first impressions when I first got it was it feels a lot like Destiny, but the single player of it. Just the way it feels and the way the menu system is designed.
The whole like the mouse system basically. You don't. That immediately felt like Destiny for sure.
Yeah. As someone who was excited for Destiny, but came away wanting more exploration. I think if these two worlds would merge,
if you could push them together, that'd be amazing.
I mean, that was the hope with Bungie when they first teased Destiny, but God, I would kill for that to happen. But man, there's so many. We can talk endless about this, but what is your main takeaway from No Man's Sky?
Just one thing I do want to add. So everyone heard about that leak, like beforehand, and there was that big patch that changed a lot of things. I know you're going for the center of the universe, right, Alex?
So my playthrough is to go for the center, but at the same time, I'm trying to just see if there's a popular planet there, and then if I find it, I'm just gonna stop. So
sure.
Yeah,
like there's what's it called? I guess maybe eventually like Reddit will be like, everyone come to this planet, let's hang out. That's like, I'm sure that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
If they enable like you can see other people online, I'm sure that's gonna happen. But it's something they patched in. They're like there are different like paths and different like main quests, and I'm doing the Atlas one, which is different. I figured that like there are locked doors and stuff that require chips to get through or passes, and they say Atlas on them. So I was like, maybe I'll follow this Atlas route, and it's like completely different. Like I'm not going to the center of the galaxy. The galaxy path goes one way, and I'm going the other one, and I'm like getting these Atlas like gems and stuff, and like small spoiler here if you want to dodge it, like skip 10 seconds ahead. Apparently 10 of these Atlas orbs, like if you put them together, you can create a new star. So like, I don't know, there's some different stuff. So it's not just the center of the universe. It seems like this patch there's like this whole side quest thing that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, this is the patch that made everyone question when they went gold 5 weeks ago. And this patch seems like it totally reverses or changes how the gameplay feels. I didn't get a chance to watch Polygon's live stream or anything like that, but it's just...
They've done a lot, apparently. And my assumption is they wanted to do this stuff, but they needed to certify it to get it out on the day, like to get it to retailers. So they're like, okay, we'll set all this stuff up, and then we'll, get this version through cert, and then we'll just continue working on it and have this stuff ready to go by day one. Because some of it's major. Like there's no way that this like main quest line wasn't buried in the code of the original thing that they sent for cert. Because it's a lot. Like people are like, this patch like completely changes the game. How'd they do this in like 5 weeks when it took them however many years to work on it? And my guess is that this stuff was already pretty well implemented. They just had to do some last minute adjustments.
Yeah, Kotaku has a great article by Remy Ismail describing why day one patches are so common these days. And it's basically to get day one units in store and make sure they have enough in stock. Now, obviously, for like the 99.5% of its audience, they're not going to notice the patch. They're just going to play and have fun. But for the people that had to review it, we didn't get a review copy. But for people who are playing it Tuesday before the servers were wiped, I'm sure they noticed some slight changes. So it's always interesting to see what changes before the final build.
Like they've tweaked up. Yeah, they tweaked like because they have this procedurally generated thing. They tweaked like the protocols So like, oh, the planets will now have more animals than we originally had, and they'll have more variety than we original had. That's what I've heard they did, and they changed how many inventory slots you can get, which is good because I already run out of inventory slots all the time.
Oh yeah,
So
that's my issue.
that's like my one thing that I'm like, oh, I need those so badly. But yeah, so I mean, it seems like if they want, they can kind of like evolve what continues to be procedurally generated. And I don't know, this is definitely going to be a living, breathing game, and it's probably something that I can see myself putting down and getting back into and like not being lost at all. You know, like you just hop back in and then you just start going around a planet. Like, oh yeah, I remember this. I can see this game being a game you can put down and come back to.
Yeah, like that'd be kind of funny. You just put it down for 2 months, and then all of a sudden, hey, I want to jump into my character, and like the entire world is gone. It just
Yes, that is something. If they do change the protocol, it'll be just planets that haven't been visited yet, is my assumption.
yeah. I wonder what happens when you just like reach the center of the universe, and it's just like Rick and Morty at the very end.
Oh yeah, that's it. You don't know? Did you not read the spoiler that guy posted?
God, like every single time I land on a planet, I keep on waiting for that sign that just screams. They just come out of nowhere. I don't know if you watch Rick and Morty or not, but man, like, like the one thing we haven't talked about yet was just like the language component to it. So like, as a foreign traveler, you're learning the new language. You have the option to spend money to earn credits to be able to learn the language, and I don't know if you've done that yet, but it helps you decide
You can spend credits to learn the language.
Yeah, you can.
I have not done that yet.
Yeah,
that sounds like something I will immediately do as soon as I buy my ship.
Yeah,
because I'm obsessed with learning words. Just obsessed with it.
Yeah, it becomes you can just sit there for a good 20 minutes just wasting your credits away if you really want to do that. But you can just spend money on carbon, and that's much cheaper. But it helps you decide on the little details that they don't tell you in the text. So a lot of the time, I got a couple like warrior. There's a weapon next to a alien crate, and then you find it in a warehouse dumper. So there's like little things that you pick up, and then if you choose the wrong option in those three, you could not get the quest sometimes. So it's funny how they actually make you spend money. They actually make you get integrated with that civilization, and then you actually learn a lot from it. So it's a nice little experiment.
I really like the system. Because it's not like, oh, you learned perfect. It's not like I don't think you've played Tomb Raider yet. But in that, you like find things and you get better at a language, and then Laura can start reading things. But this is actual words in text that allow you as the player to make the right decision. It's not like, oh, you're more proficient in their language, so you can understand more now. It's, oh, you see what they're saying in their gobbledygook language, but then some of the words are English, and they're words you understand. And I like that system a lot. I think it's really cool because I was like, oh, I didn't understand any words but like danger and uncommon, and then the options were do nothing, give them carbon, which is a common material, or theramite, which is an uncommon material. I was like, oh, clearly they want uncommon here, and I got something for it. But like if I were if I just weren't thinking and I just didn't like think that uncommon meant uncommon, I could make it doesn't give it to you. You still have to figure it out, which I like.
Yeah. I think it's one of the first new things I haven't seen that mechanic anywhere else besides No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
So I wonder how many different alien races that you have that you're gonna meet.
I think there are only 3.
Yeah,
I'm actually fairly certain of that because I was reading something. I'm following this Atlas path, and it talked about the races, and it mentioned them in order, like Gek, Ver, or whatever the other. So it mentioned Korvac, Ver, and it mentioned those 3 in the sentence. I think it's just those 3 races.
Yeah, there's one turtle one, one squirrel one, and then one that's a robot slash falcon one.
Falcon.
Yeah, well, not
I don't know.
falcon, but
It's like I think like robot, like strange, like sea creature. Squiddy,
yeah,
I don't know.
it's
And then yeah, they all look like even within their own race, they sometimes look different. Like I don't know.
yeah, and they all have their own demands.
And each one is responsible for like a system. So when you arrive on a system, it'll be like either a Gex system, which is one of the races, or like a Korvax system, which is another race. So
Yeah.
everything you do in that system it'll like either attribute to your language, or you also have a reputation with each race.
That's not really explained too well.
I believe like I've seen options where it's like you can only click on this because your reputation is high.
Yeah,
So it seems like it's kind of that, and then when you do get questions wrong because you can't understand them, then your reputation will decrease with them, and they'll get angry at you. Sometimes I had a guy like punch me in the face. I've also had myself become betrothed to someone, which was really weird. So I'm supposed to marry them, but I left that system, so I think that they're going to be sorely disappointed.
you were out of there. You're just like, nope, just get on my ship and get out.
I had no idea what they were saying. It was just like, hey, you get this blueprint and you're going to get married to them. It's like, oh.
I'm gonna get the fuck out of here.
But the cool thing, though, is that I haven't really run into like any situation that is like the exact same as the other one. So that is something that's good. Like I do fear that like at some point I'll run into like one person has the exact same problem as another one, and I already know how to solve it. I don't think I've really run into that, and if I have, I haven't noticed because my language has been so bad.
How many words have you learned yet?
I can answer that for you. It's probably I've learned 57 words.
Yeah,
So,
I'm about that same ballpark.
yeah, and that's what all. So like, yeah, there's like travel, there's like met aliens, learned words, earned money, and that's all tied to like. It seems like that's how you get all the trophies and stuff in the game, and all the achievements. I'm sure on like Steam and stuff. So.
Yeah,
I have yet to discover all species on a planet, though,
nope.
which seems difficult. But that gives you a lot of money.
Yeah, I haven't discovered that one either. What was the one I was going to talk about? Yeah. How do you like the music in it?
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. I'm one of those people that in a game like this where there's no talking and stuff like that, and it's not story based or anything, like I'll sometimes like put something on in the background. But I'm finding just playing No Man's Sky that I'm so like engrossed in it, and like just the atmosphere, like the environments with the music, and it all ties in so well that like I don't want anything else on. I just want to be playing this game.
Yeah, I like post rock. Definitely has that post rock feel to it. There is no like national anthem you're gonna recognize. This is a authentic space theme. Blanking on who does the soundtrack. I think it was 66 Sounds of Silence. Just look that up. But
Yeah, I like the sound that you get when you like earn a new level in something. Like you traveled however many times and stuff like that, and you get like that next star on the thing. It's a great like space exploration sound. It's like it just feels like you've like entered like a new frontier. It's fantastic.
yeah, the soundtrack is by 65 Days of Static. It's definitely a light, but it helps just craft. Yeah, every time you earn something, it's a new experience. And I wish there was a little bit more variety. It feels like it's the same palette, but
Yeah.
again, like because the game has only been up for 2 days, I wonder how much new content is out or how much new content is left, because we've seen during the VGAs or during Jeff Keighley's award show, they're playing definitely like a hard rock theme to it. So it seems like there's more variations that we haven't seen yet, and I hope that means that as the game evolves or as you move closer to the center, or even to the outer rims, like
I think the whole soundtrack is out right now.
Yeah.
So that there's probably an answer in there somewhere. But yeah, if anything is going to happen that's going to change things up, it's going to be at the center of the universe. From what I know, so there are like I haven't looked up a lot of this stuff. I don't want to spoil it for myself. This is mostly just speculation, but there are systems that you can't travel to without a certain type of warp drive. They're on your map. They're not like the usual yellow. They're like blue or green or red, and it's possible that the planets in there are different in some way. I'm sure that they have like different minerals there because there are certain minerals I literally have yet to see and I'm really looking for. So I don't know. Maybe the planets are different in there. Maybe there's some different stuff in there. But even with, as we talked about, like the planets kind of having, I haven't run into a planet that's like all mountains yet, and I doubt I will. But even with that, I'm still like enjoying looking at new planets. So I haven't been burnt out on that yet.
What happens if? How many planets have you been to? Just like 10? Like you've?
No, I've been to a lot.
Okay.
I've probably been to like 25 or so.
All right.
It's like my thing. That's what I like to do.
Are you gonna get burnt out because you've seen the same planets, or are you kind of just happy with the resource grind and it's?
Yeah, I like grindy games, so this is pretty perfect for me. And I don't know, there are some planets that do like stick with me in my mind. Like there's this one planet that like there are moments in this game that are just stunning when like the wind blows across like the grass, and there's like a moment where I climbed like this. It was definitely like the tallest peak I could find. It was like this jagged hill, and all this grass came up like with the wind, and it was running through. And I looked out and upon like the ocean, and it was just pouring rain, and the storm came in, and like I don't know, like that particular planet was like really cool. So there are planets that do stand out. A lot of them are the same, but every now and then you get a planet that is just like tons of trees, really bright, crazy colors, and that stuff's really cool. But you're right, there's no mountain planet or just like complete desert planet. I found some sand, but like that's about it.
Yeah, I've actually found a couple of mountain planets.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, and you actually have to look for a cave entrance in order to get any minerals.
Wow.
Yeah, it's hard work.
Maybe there's stuff we haven't found yet, Alex.
Yeah, it's as you say, infinite galaxies, infinite planets. So, who knows? Like maybe you and I have met up at one point.
Oh, I doubt it.
But no,
what is it? 18 quintillion planets or something like that?
Yeah, and it's growing.
I think that's what they said. Yeah, it's growing.
Yeah, there was a picture on Twitter about the software engineers. Like, he's just sitting on the table, just like head down, doesn't even want to look on it. And it's like the stat just keeps on growing bigger and bigger. I'm like, just
like
stop.
The coolest math in the world. Some pretty cool math.
Yeah, what would you like to see? In terms of a month or two, or even just like your dream version of No Man's Sky.
I want like more planet variety. I think that's like if I'm gonna have one ask, like I want all the things we talked about. I want the multiplayer. I want to be able to run into people so I can show off my ship and my stuff and stuff like that. But to like have like drastically different planets, is like the big thing because I'm really into the exploration right now, and I want to see I just want to see some really crazy stuff. Like I'm kind of getting used to the formula now. I would love to just land on a planet with just like it's just I would love to just like stumble across like a town with even like 6 or 8 like aliens in it. Like that would be so cool. Just mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, and they're all like sitting in a cantina playing Star.
Yeah,
playing cantina.
They're all hanging out. Like there's music going on. Like how cool would it be to like drop down the city and it says it's discovered, and like like you didn't discover it. There is a full-on like city there. Like that would be so cool. Even if the city doesn't like make sense because it's procedurally generated, it would still be cool.
I'm down with that.
Yeah,
that's one of my only complaints is that I just want to see some more variety, and I want each world to feel a little bit more populated. Like I said, it's just really odd to have 10 to 15 ships hovering above, but they don't seem like they have any life.
But
Okay.
yeah, but you're discovering everything. Like they're just not interested.
Yeah, it's so for that reason, like I wish there were more options to customize cosmetically. I would love to go crazy and just design the color of the ship. I know third person's probably unrealistic, and I'm not going to say that.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can't even see yourself, so you don't even know what you look like.
I don't even know who I am.
Yeah, you don't even know what race you are. Like the extent of like customization for yourself for me is just like, oh, I got another inventory slot. Yes, that's like all I care about.
Yeah, so I mean, I would love just for there just be a camera option just to see the full like the ship in space, the full perspective of it. But if that's not available, I can totally understand why. But I hopped in from a ship that only had 15 slots and was just you could look both ways, you could look everywhere and have good perspective, to a ship that I have to only look straight because there's rim protectors everywhere.
Oh, true.
So
Oh, I've yet to experience that. I didn't even think about that.
so I can't look out of the window for right and left. I can just only look straight. So I'm only looking at my radar, and if any rebel ship is on behind me, I'm screwed.
True. Yeah, I'm flying what's basically an X-wing right now. It literally looks like one. I would love to keep it. Like I said, it's the pre-order ship, so it obviously looks really cool. But it's too small right now. I need to get one of those big cargo things that just comes into the bay every now and then.
Yeah, it definitely has a lot of Star Wars, and but I would say is more of a Star Trek feel to it.
Yeah. It's about exploring. Like that's what this game is about. Like we talked, like it's not like there is fighting, but it's not nearly as good. Like it's about like
it's doable. I mean,
it's serviceable, but it's not like I haven't found anything that like locks on yet or anything like that. It's still just the same blaster firing over and over.
Your mining gun, your blaster, when you switch it over to the blaster, it auto locks.
Yeah.
So
and there's also I found upgrades for that are like pretty high level, like spread guns, and like burst fire and stuff like that.
How many slots is your gun right now?
I'm not sure. I want to say it's like 14.
Yeah. I got one gun that was 16 slots. So
nice.
Yeah,
I just built a range booster for it, which is like for the scanner, which is really, really useful. Just so you can find things from far away.
Yeah.
Just so I can find those knowledge stones from far away. That's all I want.
Have you, God, I'm trying to think with this. Have you used the circuitry before?
Circuitry.
So the circuitry chips that you hook onto these light poles that allow you to fill in or tell you where the alien outposts are, the train depots.
Oh, like what are they called? Yeah. I'm in the bypass chips.
Yeah, the bypass chips.
Oh yeah, I use those all the time.
Yeah.
That thing is like those are so important in order to like find like some of the ruins and some of the really cool stuff on the planet.
It does.
And they're so cheap. They're so easy to make.
Yeah, it does streamline the experience. I've used for one planet, I felt like I was cheating myself. I felt I wasn't exploring the planet. But there are these alien milestones or symbols that you can collect. It allows you to learn the new language, and also you get some better technology from it. So the trade-off is undeniable. You kind of have to do it because...
Yeah, I guess another like issue is that you're like, you fly from one part of the planet to the other part of the planet. Like you're not walking as much as I thought you'd be, which is like okay, I suppose, but it would be like the planets are really big. They're huge. You're not going to really be able to... Like, I found a moon, and I was like, maybe you might be able to explore this. But to explore a full planet, like, it's massive, which is probably why you won't see, like, cities or anything, because if they had one on there, you'd probably never find it anyway.
Or if they do have cities, they're going to make it pretty damn...
Yeah, they're going to be like, when you'll find... Like, it'll point to there, and it'll show you how to get there.
Go here, there's life.
Yeah. Because the planets are like when you go into a planet and you're like, oh, this thing is massive. Like I'm pretty sure you can go all the way around the planet. I haven't done that, but
I feel like I have, but
that's
then
like
again,
my assumption is that you can do it.
yeah, yeah. Like the way I normally play is I usually, if you send all your minerals back to your ship, you can have 500, and that allows you to just carry on for what you need. And also, if you want to sell them too, so I have a lot of minerals that I've sold, which allow me to buy the ship that I'm currently using. Yeah, you can sell copper for a good amount for some reason.
I have not found copper.
Copper is everywhere.
I've never. It's maybe in your systems. I've yet to find copper. Like I'm finding the rare one. I guess I find a ton of aluminum. I find a lot of gold as well.
Gold, yeah, gold, yeah.
Like emerald, whatever that is.
Yeah, email or whatever, yeah.
But yeah, those are the like. Yeah, I am not finding copper like at all, and I need copper. Like I do want copper. I don't think I've ever found it. Ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah. If I was, at IGN doing the guide for this, I don't even know where to start.
Let's say that you can just do like what the minerals are and what they do. Like I actually think this is kind of a simple game to guide because it's so procedurally generated. Like there's no, you don't have to be like, oh, turn here. It's like in this area or like go on your map to this point. Like it's like, well, the world is going to be random, so we'll just cover the stuff that's not.
That's about what you get. I mean,
Yeah.
I haven't seen any dinosaurs. I haven't seen any.
You haven't?
Nope. No
Oh,
dinosaurs.
I found a lot of them. I found a planet that, though, like I tried to finish a planet with all the animals on it, but I couldn't do it. I already found like 25 animals, and I had to like stop. I was like, damn, where are the rest of them? Like a ton of dinosaurs just like wandering around. I got attacked by one, like a huge, like almost Tyrannosaurus Rex type thing.
Jesus.
It's like weird. Like I've seen like what look like centipedes like flying in the sky. Like I don't know. Like the animals, like some of them start to look the same, but there are some really unique ones. I found this blob that had these two giant eyes that just hopped around, just like I don't know. I also got chased by a shark when I was underwater, which was legitimately scary. So
Holy crap.
that's what this game like can do. Like it can give you like really like cool moments that are just yours. So yeah, even 10 hours in, like I said, we haven't like seen all of it yet, but I can recommend it at this point. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, the only cool animal I saw was a animal that looked like a cute little Ewok, and then it notices you, and then gets closer and closer and closer, and it just starts beating the shit out of me. Like I don't know what I did, but like
it'll like say if they're like aggressive or not when you like tag them.
Yeah, like I haven't actually died on ground before. It's always just
me neither.
Yeah, so I've always wondered if the planets in the beginning systems are lower, then when you warp into bigger ones and the higher difficulty ones, like I assume.
Yeah, like I haven't found any of those like chicken walkers yet. Like, they look like the ones from Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't found any of those yet. I found ones that like are on all fours. They look like dogs and they shoot at you. But yeah, like I'm guessing maybe security on some of the later planets is like stepped up, and like you have to have a lot of like shields and like a good gun to like get through that stuff.
Yeah. Normally we talk about other stuff like news, but this is the week before Gamescom, so everyone's kind of holding their cards, and we're probably gonna know more about it next week. So there's actually, I don't think Microsoft is not holding their panel. Sony isn't holding a panel, so most of the news is going to come off the show floor this year.
Yep.
So it's going to be interesting to see what comes out of the event. Gamescom is one of those events that I want to go to. It's actually bigger than E3. I'm surprised at that. Like they haven't.
It's huge.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't held that more often. Grow that brand of sorts, but
the problem is that it's like it's not far away enough from E3. Like the developer or the publishers have already They've already announced everything pretty well, for the most part.
So I found that most publishers and developers are actually holding stuff now for Gamescom.
Okay.
Yeah. And if they do show some stuff at Comic-Con, Comic-Con is actually bigger than E3. Maybe not for the television audience, but for the amount of people going to that attendance or going to that convention center.
Well, E3 isn't public. Like Gamescom's public.
This year it was more public.
Oh, it had that public thing, yeah.
Yeah, that it's ever been. A lot of people are expecting, including me, that E3 will become similar to Comic-Con, get closer to your fans, but it still has that old feel to it, so it's still in that rough transition phase. So I don't know how long they are in LA, but be interesting to see what's the future of E3 going forward, because Twitch streaming has really cut into that budget.
Yeah, and I mean, EA pulled out this year. Who knows what'll happen next year?
EA, Activision, Ubisoft was there, but like most the modern people that were there from day one was pulled out this year.
Mm-hmm.
And rightfully so. I think that, like, when you look at the budget and how much it costs for a show floor booth, it's just not worth it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna have some good news posts from that event. If there is a panel or any of that sorts, we will have a live blog going up for it. This week in San Francisco, I am based out of San Jose, has been pre-Gamescom, so you're going to see a lot of previews coming up next week. So stay tuned for that. But this is our first episode on YouTube for Point Taken. Hope you enjoy it. Patrick, where can they find you at?
You guys can find me on Twitter at PattySync, PattySinc.
You can find me on Twitter at AlMartinet. You can also email us at podcasts@vpdaily.com. Thank you for listening. We'll be back next week. Please give us a review. We appreciate it. We'll see you.
See you.